Welcome to another week of Coach's Corner. This week's edition will feature Ponca City cross country team. Kelly Chaney joins us to talk about how the cross country teams are doing so far, and from top to bottom looks pretty darn good. Kelly, congratulations. I know you all just went to Arc City this past weekend or on Thursday and had a very successful trip from the junior high all the way to the high school.
Very good. Our junior high team didn't compete, but our freshman boys competed. That's the only time all season long where the boys, just freshmen, have a freshman race only. And I took first place. In fact, the first three runners were from Ponca City. So we had basically our top 7 runners in the top 10, which is really exceptional. And then our JV boys took first place as well. Had about 7 guys in the top 15, and then our varsity boys took 7 in the top 15. So, and all 3 of those groups took first place overall.
The girls competed in that event?
Girls competed, and Sierra Gray looked really good. And then our girls didn't score points because you have to have 5 girls cross the finish line, and 3 of them went down with injuries, ankle injuries. So hopefully we'll have those back by this Thursday.
Wow, you've done this a long time. Is that the first time that's ever happened to you?
First time I think I've ever had that happen, yes.
So the girls get hurt on the course. That's one of the reasons why it's hard to be every place at one time, but you really have to be out there, don't you, as a coach?
I like to go out there in the middle of the course and get splits at the mile mark or the 2-mile mark, depending on what races they are, and just see how the kids are running. And that kind of gives me an indication on what we need to do the next week or the next 2 weeks, and what we need to improve on the most, either more miles or more speed work.
It's hard to explain those ankle sprains, though, because you guys run on a lot of natural courses, man-made courses. So every once in a while, I guess they're going to hit a hole, hit a bad place to sprain an ankle.
There's holes out on different courses because they're not run on sidewalks or anything like that. We do run in the park at Hutchins, and there's some places out there where there's holes and stuff. But it just goes back to getting your ankles up there and getting them taped and whatnot, and trying just tough it out.
Everybody will be healthy for the end of the year, though, I hope.
I hope everybody's ready by conference and regionals, yes.
This week you mentioned you go to Owasso. Is that another tough meet for you?
It'll be fairly tough. I don't know exactly who's going to be there because on Saturday, 2 days later, there's going to be a meet at OSU, and a lot of the big teams will show up there. But I don't want to go to all of the big meets week after week after week. It's kind of hard to get up for those races, and you have to do your practice work differently, and so I don't want to go to a big race every single week.
Well, there's the mental part of running, and you're an expert on that, and I'm sure, as a lot of coaches do, you're going to try to peak your kids at the exact right time.
We want to be peaked right at the regional meet, because if you don't perform at regionals, there's no state the next week. So you always want to peak for them and just kind of hold on for the next week.
You mentioned the boys team, very successful, 9th grade up. Let's talk about some of those guys. I know you've got some senior leaders, some kids up there, but you were telling me that you do have some great competition for the top 5 places.
Yes, A.J. LeClaire is a junior, and he's been consistent all 3 years that he's been running for us. And then you have a new kid that we've never had before. Jared Johnson's one of them. He's a number 5, 6, or 7 runner. Blake Resort's the senior, who's been with us for several years. He didn't compete last year because of some injuries. And we have Austin Lewis, a senior, who has not been out there before. Jacob Keffer's a sophomore, and Max Burley's a junior, and they've been out there for 3 or 4 years. So we have a lot of consistency and some new kids that's coming along and helping us out. For
those that don't know, though, 9th graders are eligible for high school varsity competition, and even if they don't make that jump, you're still very encouraged by the kids you have down there, too.
Gage Stout has been one of our best freshmen so far, and he competed with us last year as an 8th grader, but that's one of the few sports where a freshman can actually run on the varsity team and compete, and he's done really well, and he's been off and on the varsity or JV most of the season.
On the girls' side, you mentioned Sierra Gray, which has been your top runner, but maybe a word about a couple of other girls that have been outstanding so far.
Lyric Goldsmith has done really well. She's a freshman, has not competed. Carly Lane and Carly Edens also has not competed as cross country before, and there's several other girls that we've had. Cameron Davis ran with us last year, and So it's looking pretty good.
With all those injuries, somebody might get a chance too.
Yes, somebody could move up. Right now, because those freshmen have never ran cross country before, but they did run track in the spring as an 8th grader, they just don't have the miles behind them, and it's going to take maybe another year or two before they can really compete at the varsity level.
When's the conference meet, Coach?
Conference meet, well, there's really no more conference, but the Enid and Stillwater.
Call it whatever we want.
We're going to call it the Northern Oklahoma
Uh-huh.
Conference. The three of us got together on a phone call. We're just going to call it Northern Oklahoma Conference, and just going to have the meet at OSU every year on their course, at the college course.
So the schools will just meet there and run them.
And we're going to put the JV and varsity together in one race. All the boys run against each other, and the top 7 going to be my varsity at the regional meet. And I think that Enid and Stillwater is going to do the same. And that's just, one more race for them to run.
Right. Is the purpose of that, though, you don't want to have a break at that time of the year? You want to make sure that at least they get their road work in that weekend?
That week, there's really no more meets available unless you're a conference, and they're having conference races. So I don't want to go 2 or 3 weeks without any meet competition. And we're not going to run the week before because I don't want to run in a big meet, a week before the conference meet.
Right.
And so we're going to train real hard that week, that first week of October, and then go into the conference meet October the 11th, and then decide who their top 8 is.
Well, and I know that it's important. You want to qualify as a team this year, too.
We would like to take the boys' team for sure to the state meet.
Well,
and we have a good chance to do that, I think.
Well, great success and good luck. Get those girls healthy and get their ankles healed up.
We're hoping,
okay?
yes.
Very good. Kelly Chaney, our cross-country coach. We wish them good luck and get out and support them absolutely as they wind down their season. Kelly Chaney, our special guest in Coach's Corner.